Hi, everyone. It is Meredith, your evolutionary astrologer. And today we are continuing the fun with the pain and the pitfalls of loving an Aquarian. Why are Aquarians difficult? Why are they challenging? How are they challenging? So, in this video, I'm going to give you 10 reasons why it can be really challenging to be in love with an Aquarian or just love an Aquarian. So, this isn't just romantic or sexual love. If you have a child or a friend, listen to this video because we're going to go deep, deep into the shadow side of Aquarius. And we're going to go into all the problems and all the pitfalls. So, my point and my purpose with this series, and I do hope that you have been enjoying it, is when we see the challenges, when we understand how the shadow side of the psyche is formed in each of the 12 zodiac signs, we can start working with that part of our own selves and our own chart because you do have all 12 signs in your natal chart. But we can also grow compassion and empathy for others who maybe didn't love us the way we wanted them to love us or interact with us in the way that we wanted them to interact with us. And there's usually really big, good reasons why. So, this is not the virtue video. This is not what's so great about an Aquarius video. This is the shadow side of Aquarius energy. And why does it go wrong when it goes wrong? Why does it why does Aquarian energy detach, for example? Well, we're going to go into it in this video and it is going to be exciting. So the first thing I want to say is this video is unedited, so you get to see me, bloopers and all, and there will be no graphics or any interruptions. So just take me on a long walk with you. I wanted to do a little easier series, one where you didn't even have to look at your chart. But if you are an Aquarius rising, moon, sun sign, this video is definitely for you. Or if you're involved with somebody who has their primary planets, that's the sun, Mercury, sun, moon, Mercury, rising sign, Venus, Mars, and even a Jupiter. Or if you have planets of any sign up in the 11th house in your chart, if you know that much about your chart, any planets, it doesn't matter if they're Taurus, if they're in the 11th house, and if you have 3 or more, definitely watch this video because you will be able to relate. Now, you know that we don't do sun sign astrology here on this channel because we're smarter than that. We're deeper than that. We go way beyond the boundaries. So if you listen to this video and you are an Aquarius or you have some of those Aquarius placements or your partner is, and you're just like, nope, she's wrong. Well, go look at their chart because chances are you probably have something really different like Pisces also in your chart. And you do have to blend and synthesize. So, like all signs, Aquarius is really complex. It's different. And the Aquarius personality has a unique complexity to it. And I would say it's kind of like an intricate tapestry of, of mixing or combining, I should say, the threads along with the different archetypes. But Aquarius is also very, very fascinating. It's a very fascinating sign, and it represents originality and independence. And there is something sort of enigmatic about Aquarius's charm. And so they're known as the water bearer. And they're born, usually it does change every year, but they're usually born around January 20th through February 18th. Now, there's 2 kinds of Aquariuses. So there's the Uranian Aquarius, and Uranus is the planet of revolution and change. And these people, all Aquarians actually have a visionary mind, a visionary mind. But there's also a Saturnian Aquarian, and that Aquarius is a little bit more predictable and stable, right? And steadfast and loyal. And so you're going to have to decide if you are the Saturnian Aquarian or if you're the Uranian. Now, I have a whole entire giant playlist on Aquarius, and I have a lot of good stuff. So this video might make you hate me. I hope this isn't the first time we're meeting one another, but I do have an entire playlist on Aquarius with all my Aquarius videos. If you want to find out all the great things, all the good things, all the remarkable things, please go watch that playlist of mine. So let's dive in. Aquariuses can be kind of uniquely challenging, uniquely difficult, and that's because they are kind of a paradoxical sign. So the minute they do something, they also undo it at the same exact time. I know that sounds crazy, but just go with me, go with me. We haven't even started yet, right? So I would say the number one first hardest thing, and they get criticized for this a lot, and you hear this a lot, is emotional detachment. But let me explain it just one step further. They actually get out of emotional attachment because they intellectualize their feelings. So I would call this emotional detachment, and they replace it with intellectual intel, intel, intellectualization. Say that over and over. And so they really keep their energy up there in their big brains, and they do definitely have big brains. They approach life less with their heart and more with logic and reason and critical thinking and cerebral sensibility, if you will. And this can make for like fascinating connections or conversations, right? And really, really stimulating debates, and just it's just it can be actually so riveting. But it can also, the emotional aloofness, the emotional disconnect can really be felt by others. Aquarius doesn't even know that they are doing this. They literally are clueless. Like, what? What do you mean? Why am I not present? I've just been sitting here talking to you in this most fascinating conversation for 45 minutes. What do you mean I'm not present? And what it is they don't just swim in, the tides of emotions and feelings. They kind of pull themselves out of the feelings, and they sort of float above, observing down onto themselves with like this keen insight. And this is really perplexing for other people, because other people are in the conversation with this warmth and this desire for intimacy or deeper connection. And Aquarius just is inside conversation, much like a Gemini and much like a Libra, where they're a little bit capable of being in it and simultaneously, remember, I told you it's a paradox with Aquarius, simultaneously also being outside of their conversation, looking onto it like a movie screen. And if you're a Cancer or a Taurus, you might not even know what the heck I'm even talking about, but others might crave this emotional depth. And I'm going to just tell you, Aquariuses have kind of a hard time delivering that depth right away. Now, it's not true that they're not deep. Oh my God, the Aquariuses in my life are some of the deepest people I know, but they don't start out that way. They are very, very deep, but you don't see this right away. Right away, they do friendship. They start with friendship. They size you up a little bit. And their depth is also usually a little bit different. Like, how do I say this to you? They're not necessarily going to go down into your emotional depth. They're going to take you vast and wide. See how you can't even see my hands on the screen anymore? They're going to take you out there. So they're going to take you into a vastness, into thoughts you've never even had before. Let me tell you how you get an Aquarius really deep fast. And I'll just tell you, it works with all my Aquarians. And I have very close people to me that are Aquarians. You need deep eye contact. You need to sort of shut out the white noise all around you, because they are very curious about life. So you need to get them to focus. You might need to hold their hand. You might even need to put your hand like on their knee or their thigh or even their chest or their hand or their shoulder. Like, I want to ask you something. So they have another sensory reason to focus on you. They can deliver the depth, but they need to sort of be consumed by you. And if they like you, they'll deliver, because they want to go to uncharted territories. They love that. So I have to tell you this story. So my stepdad, who I've talked a lot about on this channel, he is like 86 years old now. I think I've stopped counting. Anyways, gosh, he is so deep. But okay, I inherited him when I was 10 years old. I knew him when I was 7 years old, and he was the funniest guy. He was funny and lighthearted, and he taught me how to fish. He taught me how to camp, and he really built the little bit of tomboy that I have in me. He built it. He nurtured that in me. Anyways, I just have to tell you this adorable story. So I I have to tell you, I never really saw his depth as a little girl or as a teenager or even maybe a young adult. I think I started to see his depth when I was about 29 years old. And that's because I wasn't focused. I didn't like reach for it, I didn't grab it. But now I see his depth, now for 29, 39, 40, for 30 years, I've seen his depth, but it is very uncanny how it works. And that is that Aquariuses don't just come out of the gates being deep. They don't like that. That feels too sticky, too vulnerable, too intrusive. Aquarians usually have exceptionally good boundaries. I think Aquarians have better boundaries than pretty much anyone in the zodiac. Capricorns have really good boundaries too, and I think that's the Saturn in them. Really good boundaries. They actually give you more room than you want. Aquarians do. They give you more space, more time, more freedom, more flexibility than you even want. You wish they wanted a little bit more from you. Like you wish they were just a little stickier, a little gooier, right? Anyways, my stepdad, he is such a wonderful man, and his depth is really like, I don't know, it's just really, it's been a fascinating journey with him because I think we go so deep so frequently now, but we had to get there in our own unique way. It couldn't have been forced upon us. But we were sitting at this family dinner, and my stepdad was exceptionally quiet this one night, and he was down at the far end, and there was 4 and 4, and I can't remember. I think my nephew was graduating from high school or something. And people were going around the table talking about hopes and goals and dreams, or I don't even know what the conversation was. I can't remember. But it started here, and it is chronic and constant. So my stepdad was just eating his dinner. He was very quiet, and then out of the blue, boom, pop, bang, boom, the fireworks went off. He was just in between bites, and he said this like Buddhist wise wisdom, soulful, emotional, like non-judgmental, just the most riveting thought. And I wish I could remember what it was. But like all of us stopped our chit chat. We put our forks down, and I was like, what? What did you just say? Can you repeat that? And he said, no, I can't. Aquarius. Ever since then, I always called it Dad's ahas. He is filled with these mind blowing, deep revelations that are ahas, that are like just these aha moments that just drop down from heaven. I swear to God, blow everybody's mind away. They're deep, they're warm. He does this all the time. I don't even know what they are, but he says these like penetrating truths that we're all kind of not totally getting, but we're kind of trying to reach it in our conversation. And it's like he drops this like wisdom bomb that just like slices everybody open and makes people cry. And it is so deep. And I think he like really can't repeat it because it was just so brilliant and deep and warm and connected and emotional and wise that he can't do it twice. So it's like grandpa's ahas. They're really, really special. And they can just deliver this depth out of this and this crazy, insightful awareness that just pops out of them. And I think they even shock themselves when they do this. But I'm not positive Aquarians can consistently live at that pulse. Like that's where Scorpio lives. And so when the Aquarius does that or says that, it's just shell shocking. But Cancer or Scorpio, they sort of live at that vibrational level. And Aquarius pops in, boom, and then pops out. And no, they can't do it twice. They'll do it again on a different subject, and they'll when they can shock themselves too. So I really do think that Aquariuses kind of struggle to meet these expectations around deep emotional connection because they intellectualize their feelings, and they intellectualize your feelings and the group's feelings. And they can also very easily, they kind of squirm out of that those emotional deep moments, honestly, because they turn emotional issues into abstract conversations. And this can bring clarity and perspective, but it can make other people like yearn or long for something more visceral. And also, I will just tell you that this sort of emotional detachment and this intellectualization is, it sort of makes people feel like you have no empathy. Like, where's your empathy? Why are you just doing critical thinking around, this bleeding heart that I'm telling you about that I have? And so they oftentimes have these brilliant, brilliant comments or solutions to personal problems, but they fall short when you just need a mushy, gushy, squishy hug, right? Or a comforting embrace, or just like gentle words, or just, treat me like a little baby for just 2 seconds. Let me be a baby. No, Aquarians are not the best person for that. And this can make other people really feel like not heard. This can make people feel like they have to sort of stand up and be louder so you get it as the Aquarian, like so you can feel their pain and their suffering. Like, don't you get it? This can create sort of a lividness. You can be exasperated with your Aquarius who is not showing enough empathy. And it also makes the person receiving the Aquarius feel like there's distance here, or there's misunderstanding. A lot of misunderstandings with Aquarius is, and we'll get into that why. Okay, number two, the paradox of independence. So let me just tell you this. For Aquariuses, emotions feel like a trap, especially if you're in the dating world of dating an Aquarius. If you're going to put your sticky emotions onto me, I am going to feel like I am trapped in your problem. So if you show up on a date and you're going to just complain about, I don't know, the unhealthiness of your child's drug addiction, let's just say, and how it's just eating you alive. Okay, that's way too big of an emotional trap. If you're going to tell me about how awful your mother's abuse was, that's going to be too much of a trap. If you're going to tell me about how you have to put your dad into a home, that's way too much emotion for me. I cannot deal. So they need this independence from your emotional burdens. Oh my God, does that sound so cold? But it goes back to independence. Like, I'll do me and you do you. I don't want to do your sticky icky. And I'm not asking you to do my sticky icky. And usually they don't. They don't even reveal what it is they need. But Aquarius is, cherish freedom. You know that already. I know you know that. And self-sufficiency. And so they are very loyal. They're not going to just leave you. And they're loyal with their affection, but they resist this feeling of overwhelming emotional confinement. It is so, they don't want to get sucked into, right, your fire and then get burned by it and just disintegrate inside all your emotional, I don't want to say baggage, because baggage they can deal with if we can talk about it intellectually, but your emotional burdens. Yeah. And you will see that when you draw them into your emotional feelings, right? Your emotional depths, you can be met with someone who will retreat from you, who will deflect. Hey, let's go play cornhole, right? And also, you can see they'll bristle or just be irritated. They have an aversion to emotional intensity. And it stems from not being deep enough to go there. It stems from a profound need to maintain autonomy and personal boundaries. Yes. They really like to avoid like emotional entanglements that will compromise their independence. I know, right? It sounds kind of selfish. I promise you, the Aquarian has no idea. They don't even know they're doing this. It's just that the suffocation of your emotional burdens, your emotionalization, should I say, is daunting, it's overwhelming, and at the end of the day it's going to suffocate me, and I'm not going to be able to do my individualized agenda, schedule, or life. And so if you're involved with an Aquarius, you might feel like you're always kind of perpetually on the outside of their emotions too, because they won't put their sticky emotions onto you. Very few Aquarians will. And if your Aquarian is, go check and see where their Pisces is. And then ask yourself, is this rare or is this frequent? If this is frequent, then they probably have a lot of water in their chart or something else. But Aquarians don't usually do that to you. So they don't want that done unto them. And they will absolutely be invigorated and they will love to explore their world and your world of thoughts and ideas. But they deny access. They deny access to the wellspring of feelings that lie beneath. Go ask their children, go ask their children, right? Or if you're a child of an Aquarius parent, how frequently, how often did you see their depth of feelings, not just their joy or happiness or wee giddy, right? Or anger. So, not the joy and not the anger, but everything else that's deep inside, the visceral, more complicated, complex depth of feelings. I bet you anything, it's rare. And I can say that also about my stepdad. I never really got to see the complexity of his feelings until I was about 29 years old. And I had met him at 7. But we're making up for lost time now because now I don't let him get away with it. And I hold all his focus. And I have to tell you this adorable little thing. So I took him to lunch just a couple weeks ago. And, he's really struggling in life right now. He has Parkinson's and he had a triple brain bleed last summer. And I mean, he's really lucky to be alive. So I picked him up and I took him to this little patio and we sat in the sunshine and we talked about life and we talked about death. And we talked about where does the soul live in between lifetimes. And we talked about mediumship and we talked about, if he goes before me, if he will bring me back a sign and visit me. And he asked me, well, how do I do that, Mary? Anyways, it was adorable. And he's not eating very much either. So a big lunch on a patio, I thought maybe I'd get an hour out of him. We were there for 4 hours. He gave me the biggest hug at the end and he said, when can we do this again? I miss our lunches. We used to go to lunch. We used to go to lunch every single month. When I'm between 32 years old and 45 years old, we'd go to lunch once a month and we just haven't been able to do it. Well, he needs the stamina to be able to do it. But anyways, we sat outside and we talked for over 4 hours so deeply. But I'm telling you, I earned that place in his heart. And he doesn't do that with very many people. So I feel really honored. I feel really special. I've learned how to creep in there and pry open his soul and then swim down to the bottom. And I love his ahas and I love listening and I love knowing his feelings. And he even told me a story that was a secret story that I won't tell, but it was a secret story about a thing that he had done in his childhood that he had great shame around. And he started to cry. That is deep. That is deep. That is rare and that is precious. So I want to hear your Aquarian stories. And I want to hear if you have been able to crack your Aquarian open and if you can get into just the nonsensical feelings. Like that's where that's where my stepdad and I went, because we went into the feelings that actually made no sense. He just still had them. And he, he didn't need to hold on to those feelings. And so if you're in the nonsensical feelings with your Aquarian, you've really done something special. And they probably have grown. But again, I'm talking about the shadow side in this video. I'm not really talking about the virtues. So let's keep going. Okay, so I think Aquarians are deeply, deeply misunderstood. And I think it's brought on a lot by them, by their own selves. And that's because they have communication challenges. They really do. For their big, giant brains, they have a very, very hard time saying what they feel, saying what they need, saying what they want, or saying what they desire. And they have a hard time with like openly boasting about someone. And yes, they can do it. And they usually learn how to do this more and more and more as they get older. But shouting out their love out loud feels to them a little bit like a trap. They're not going to just give you all that power because they don't want to be bossed, owned, or controlled. And now, if you know that I love you so much and I can't live without you, you have too much control over me. Perhaps. Again, it goes back to every single time you see the shadow side operating inside Aquarius, ask yourself, how does this trap them? What are they afraid of? And it will come back almost 99% of the time of being in someone else's trap. So open I love yous at the dinner table, like, hey, I love you so much. You're just so fabulous. And oh my God, I just missed you so much. No, 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 no. Emotional attachment, though, what happens is that people don't know how you feel about them. They literally have no idea. So, and they don't even know if you like them. Like, okay, do you like me? So an Aquarian is going to do rational conversation over emotional expression, which then makes them misunderstood as cold, aloof, detached, uncaring, and even like not even having manners, like not even being polite. Like, what did I do? And let me tell you, they are clueless. They don't even know they do this. They have no idea. I have another adorable story, though. This is a really funny story. Okay, so I have a very best friend, and she and I were roommates in New York City together. When I graduated college, I answered a roommate wanted ad, and she answered the door in a shark. She answered the door, I should say, in a shark costume, and she was on her way. When I went to go look for the room for rent, she was on her way to an off Broadway show that she had just gotten. And I'm like, are you, she just got a part in. I'm like, are you like riding this subway in your shark costume? She was like, no, I'm taking a cab, but like she's in a shark costume. I'm like, okay, I love you already. I have to live here. Anyways, we are still fabulous friends. That was so long ago. It's like more than 30 years ago. Anyways, we made a plan to meet up with each other. I was moving to, at the time, Czechoslovakia. It was one country at the time, teach English as a second language. And she was going to meet me there. And we were going to meet in Greece before I got assigned to my school in Piešťany, Slovakia, if anybody knows. Anyways, that's where I taught English. Anyways, we meet in Greece and I get off the boat in Naxos and she's already there. And by the way, she is Aquarius, but she has like 3 planets in Pisces. And I see her on the other side of the marina and she's running towards me. I mean, imagine the last time we saw each other was in our apartment in New York City. And now this is like 2 months later. And I hear through the crowds and everybody's speaking in Greek. And this is so long ago. I was probably 27 years old. So yeah, 30 years ago. And I hear literally through the marina, make me. And I'm like, oh my God. And we find each other in this whole crowd and we hug each other and we can't believe we found each other in Greece in Naxos. And right then, right at that particular moment, she's like, I think I'm going to be sick. And I was like, hang your head over the marina, right? And I put her head over where the boats are and she loses her entire lunch. Oh my God. And that was our hello. Anyways, she is big and she is bold and she's so expressive and she's very, very deep, but she has 3 planets in Pisces, right? She didn't care at all. She's like, oh, wow, that was really embarrassing. How are you? Oh my God, I would have died. She was just like, oh, that was so embarrassing. I gave all the fish lunch. I'm like, oh my God. Right. So hopefully your Aquarian has a little bit of Pisces or a dash of Cancer or, some other things in their chart that can create connection. So if you are a partner to an Aquarian or even a parent to an Aquarian child, or if you're a child to an Aquarian adult, I bet you anything you are yearning for more declarations and bigger displays of affection. And you can be left wondering, you know, am I loved? Am I liked? Am I enjoyed? And this is how Aquarians are misunderstood because they love large and they love big and they love deeply. But getting it out of their body and into your knowing is the challenge. And that's why this is sort of a paradox. Yes, they do feel this, but they unknowingly sabotage their relationships through challenging communication. They cannot communicate all of those big feelings, and so it creates sort of a mismatch. Like what they really feel is only expressed by only 2% of what they feel is even expressed. And so after you build a repetitive pattern around this, the repeated misunderstandings grow and grow and grow and grow until now you're at the end of life or the end of your relationship. And there is a feeling of isolation. And despite the Aquarians' effort to connect, they don't even know that they're not connecting. So it's going to take you, the non-Aquarian person, to sort of make it safe and make it palatable and respect their boundaries around how sticky they can get into the emotions. You've got to make it really, really safe. And so if you have a big hearted Aquarian who's making giant declarations, of love for you, that's pretty special. And it is also very rare. It's super rare. So the Aquarians in my life are capable of doing this and they do it. But I don't know if they actually do this with other people in their life, to tell you the truth. So my best friend, one of my best friends, Kate, who I was just telling you about, when I see her around her family, she kind of buttons it up a little bit. Yeah. And also with my stepdad, um, he doesn't make big declarations usually. He has to be kind of invited. So you kind of have to go first with your Aquarian and get them to realize that your declarations are not meant as a trap to confine them in a small jail cell, right? And you can make them feel that it's safe to shout their love, affection, and appreciation from the mountaintop. Like, who cares, right? And I won't trap you in it. Okay, number 4, they have a very strong need for novelty and unpredictability. And the Aquariuses that are ruled by Uranus rather than Saturn, Uranus governs sudden changes, like boom, We're going to change this, or innovation, or just the unexpected. And so the Uranian Aquarians will really keep you on your toes. The Saturnian ones, yes, on occasion, but not so much. But yes, they still will, because Aquariuses are ruled by both signs. But for you, if you're an Aquarian or you have an Aquarian moon, do you think the Uranus or the Saturn is more prevalent or the stronger ruler in your chart? Leave me a comment and let me know. So Aquarians at the core have this like deep, restless quest for the new and the novel. And they have this really deep-seated resistance to conformity. They can't stand conformity. They actually hate it. They thrive on new ideas and unconventional experiences. And there's a thrill in breaking with tradition. But the Saturnian Aquarians really like the tradition. They like, the traditional Christmas dinner and the traditional, Easter egg hunt, or whatever it is you do in your family, the traditional Passover, the traditional prayer, the traditional whatever it is. They do like that. That's the Saturn. But the Uranian Aquariuses like to break free from all of that. And they feel a burden if they have to conform to too many rules and regulations. They thrive on new ideas. They thrive on unconventional experiences. And this makes them really inspiring companions. And it also means that their interests, their moods, and their commitments are mercurial, and they shift with very little warning to anybody else. You're like, why did you do that? I have no idea. I just wanted to. Okay. You kind of forgot to tell me that we were going to go do that. I didn't know we were going to go on the boat today. Yeah. Pulled the boat up. We're ready to go. Oh, okay. So the pursuit of the unconventional is really a strong impulse for Aquarian. And so they're the sign that is most likely to champion a new cause or discover a new hobby or embark on an unexpected adventure just in a moment's notice. And the constant evolution, while it's exciting and stimulating, woohoo, yay, if you're involved with another person who likes that. But if you crave predictability and stability and like, hey, that wasn't put on the family calendar, yeah, you're probably going to struggle with Aquarians, because they will mix it up. They'll even forget, like, what? We were supposed to go on a picnic today? I had no idea. Oh my God, I made a dinner with I don't know, the boss of the company's boss. I had no idea. What? We're going on a picnic? Right. And so they have these ever changing priorities. And sometimes they have so much going on in their brains. Forgot to tell you that they changed the date, changed the program. And so they can kind of like abandon ship on you. They can no show you. But again, they're a little bit clueless. Like they're just in their moment. They're in their moment. They forgot to pick you up for the date they planned. And so Aquarians kind of get mislabeled as their unpredictability makes them sort of get mislabeled as unreliable. Like you didn't show up to the meeting. You didn't come to the company, I don't know, party, the corporate party or whatever it was, because their interests shift so rapidly and they're trying to deal with what's ever in their face. Their world is like popcorn, microwave popcorn or popcorn in the bowl, pop, 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 right? And so their attention shifts so rapidly from one interest to another and they're so intrigued by whatever they're wrapped up in that they can literally be scatterbrained, like the absent-minded professor on Gilligan's Island, right? And they can come across as sometimes spaced out, inattentive, ADD. It's not ADD. It's called Aquarian. Don't hate me. This is the shadow side. Don't forget. So if you want to know what part of your chart is ruled by Aquarius, you should go get my report called Your Unique Chart Rulers. And you should go see where you have Aquarius in your chart. You have this somewhere in your chart. So what house you have Aquarius energy in, if you are operating at the shadow side, the more dysfunctional side, the unhealthy side, the underdeveloped side, the undeveloped side, in that house, that theme, these themes will play out. So where do you have Aquarius in your chart? And if you don't know, you should go get my unique chart rulers report. It is so good. It doesn't cost very much money. It's a great way to support the channel. And you will get so much out of that. You will just get so much out of it. So number 4 kind of like bleeds into number 5, which is that resistance to commitment. And it makes other people feel like you're not committed because you're shifting your agenda. And it's hard for them to even commit sometimes to a plan. You know, they like to keep things open for possibilities. Let's just explore in the moment. But then we miss out, right? We miss out on the things that you have to schedule, like a family reunion because they didn't want to plan, or a concert, or a trip, or, you know, a certain evening with friends, or whatever, something you have to get tickets for, something that you have to book a flight for, because they don't want to be pinned down and bogged into someone else's agenda. They don't really want to be the passenger in the car. Not really. They like to be the person who is sort of controlling the agenda. They like the freedom. They value freedom and novelty at all costs. And so long-term commitments are hard. Like if you can get an Aquarius to walk down the aisle and say, I do, you know, till death do us part. Oh my God, hallelujah. Here's your trophy. I am giving you your trophy. I think Aquarius is absolutely hands down, unless you have a big Saturnian Aquarian, one of the hardest signs to get to make a commitment forever. And then I would say next would be Gemini and Sagittarius. Like, good luck getting any of these people down the aisle. Are you married to an Aquarian? Are they Saturnian or Uranian? And how long have you been married? And do they still keep you on your toes? And is every day a different day and you have no idea where they're at or what they're doing? That is very, you know, if you have a little dash of that, okay, they're probably a healthy Aquarian. But if that's your whole life, like, I have no idea, I have to put a tracker on this person. Or if your kid is an Aquarian, like, I got to put a tracker on them. That is, you know, like freedom at all costs. And so a lot of Aquarians are involved in non-traditional relationship structures, and they explore more flexibility and discovery and exploratory, I should say, relationships that just allow for greater freedom. Like, if I change my mind, I'm not a bad human being. I'm not god awful. If I can't do this until the day we die, I'm not a horrible human being. Are you okay with that? Yeah, I'm okay with that. Oh my God, I love you. Do you want to get married? That's how you marry an Aquarian. Yeah. Aquariuses are more likely to question and challenge and redefine the terms of their relationships, which, if you're more traditional, that can leave other people feeling insecure and uncertain. I will say Aquariuses, I don't find too many Aquariuses, a few, jealous. Uh, they respect their freedoms, so they usually respect yours too. Usually, they can be jealous, especially if they are high Saturnian Aquarians. But this sign is not known for jealousy. That's if you are a highly jealous Aquarian, you have something else in your chart. Go look for Taurus. Go look for Scorpio inside your chart. Are you a Taurus rising? Do you have Scorpio on the descendant? Are you a Scorpio rising and you have Taurus on the descendant? Anyways, it is, again, it's not even a statement. Their resistance to being tied down is not a statement about them not liking you. It's more this deep-seated need for autonomy and to be self-expressed, like to be creatively self-expressed in their own authenticity. Okay, number 6. They do this to themselves, as we all do. Like, we all create our vice is usually our virtue is usually our vice, and vice versa. So they create a feeling of deep alienation through their individualism. And so they have a penchant for individuality and innovation, that this individuation can make them seem inaccessible. And they, like, as you know, you guys already know, they march to the beat of their own drum. And so they set themselves apart from the crowd. Like, no, I'm not going to conform to this. You know, everybody, I don't know how to say it, but they're not even going to partake in the in the group activity in a way. They like groups, they like organizations, but they sort of defy the rules. They like to push the buttons and defy the rules a little bit. They have to set themselves apart within the group. Okay. So I know this is a little bit confusing because they love groups, they love organizations, they love teamwork. But inside that teamwork, inside that group, they are going to defy the rules a little bit. They're going to see how they can make a unique impression, stand apart. They're going to wear, you know, if the dress code is black, they're going to wear black. It's just going to have polka dots on it. Yeah. You said black. I just decided to wear it with polka dots. So it can kind of feel like alienating, like, okay, I invited you to this group thing, you accepted, and now you don't want to play the game. Right now we're playing games and you don't want to play, or, you know, it was a pajama party and you can't, you can't come in your pajamas. Okay. I just thought of this thing. So a while back ago, think I was 40 years old. I had a birthday party and I wanted to create a birthday party, slumber party, and I wanted to sort of reenact my 9-year-old birthday party. So we were going to make Christmas cookies and we were going to play games and we were going to be in our pajamas and do each other's hair and just have like girls' night, slumber party night, right? And so I had another friend who was an Aquarian, and everybody knew that it was like a slumber party, and we were going to do like I had eye masks for everyone and like facial cream. I just had the whole party set up for this, like, I don't know, 9-year-old slumber party. It was just so cute and so adorable. So my Aquarian girlfriend shows up. I am not joking when I tell you this. She showed up in a red velvet ball gown, ready for the Met Gala. And I was like, what the hell? You got the invitation. I know you did because you helped me plan this stupid birthday party. It actually wasn't stupid, but I was just like, what? So all of my girlfriends, I had like 10 of them. We have no makeup on. We look crazy. We're in hair rollers. We're doing facials. You know, we've got our masks on, and she shows up in a red velvet ball gown, literally like poofy skirt. And I'm like, where are you coming to my birthday party? She said, yes, I'm coming to your birthday party. But I have the Germans are arriving in town and I'm taking them out for tea and biscuits when they land. Okay. First of all, I've known you for 9 years. You've never mentioned the Germans. Second of all, the Germans are arriving on my birthday and you helped me plan my birthday and you never mentioned the Germans. Third of all, where are you getting tea and biscuits at 10 o'clock at night? She did not want to conform. So one of my other girlfriends was like, that's okay. I brought a second pair of pajamas. They stripped her out of that ball gown and they put her hair up and they gave her silky pajamas. And she was not leaving to go pick up the Germans and have tea and biscuits at 10 o'clock at night. There is no place in this town, right? Everything's closed. You can't even get a taco. Okay. The food trucks are gone. It's over. It's zilch. There's no tea and biscuits and there ain't no Germans coming to your party. It's such a lie. Oh my God. I said, call them and tell them to take an Uber. Anyways, that was a different girlfriend, but it was, they marched to the beat of their own drum. They do not want to conform to whatever your stupid rules are. You know, I had birthday party rules that night. And no, we're not doing that. And then you want to know what else she did that night? Oh my God, it's so Aquarian. So I went out and bought all these like cookie cutters. You know how you make the sugar cookies for Christmas? Yeah. She decided to use half of my dough, and she rolled out a phallic symbol. I'll let you guess what it is, with all of the rest of my dough. So the girls only got to make like 2 cookies each because now all my dough was made into the shape. And I was like, this is a 9-year-old's birthday party. She's like, not anymore. This is a 42-year-old's birthday party. So left to her own devices in my kitchen. Yeah. Used all the cookie dough. Anyways, that is an example of the shadow side of Aquarius, right? I just was trying to create this fun little night, and they create barriers. They don't realize that they actually alienate. She had no clue that she was alienating anybody or anything. And other people struggle to even understand their unconventional choices. And and then I just don't know how to say it, because this is a lot of like just psychological misunderstandings and feelings. People feel left behind by their like relentlessness to sort of not conform, break the rules, stand out, be unique, be different. It's another version. Are you guys seeing this? It's another kind of version of being a Leo, but you're going to do it in a way that is through defiance. It's not through fabulous creativity or showing off. It's through being different and eccentric and shocking. Aquariuses are here to shock. Uranus will shock you. So she wanted the phallic symbol, the giant. It was giant. It was on a whole cookie sheet. She wanted that to be shocking, and it was. She wanted the ball gown to be shocking. She wanted to, I don't know, have fancy German friends. Okay. Hey, I got fancy German friends too, right? Leave a comment if you're German. And are you really eating tea and biscuits? No, you're not. You're drinking dark beer. You're drinking really delicious beer at 10 o'clock at night. I know you Germans, right? I know you. You're not having tea and biscuits. Leave that to the Brits. And I love my Brits, by the way. Yeah. So the Aquarian is there physically. They're there physically, rolling out the dough, making the sugar cookie, but they are in their own outer space land. They are in another distant horizon. They're not in the same space, in the same cadence. They're off key, and they don't know they're off key. They think they are being something. Maybe they do know they're off key. Maybe they're trying to be a little bit off key. They don't know the consequences of what being off key means. They think it's cool. And again, I'm talking shadow side. And sometimes it is cool. I mean, this is how we break through. This is how we create revolutions and revelations and new horizons. But they don't understand how it sort of breaks the energetic flow of, in this case, the party. Okay, number 7. Now, you guys tell me what you think about this, because I put my own original thought into this, but I think Aquarians, if you're in partnership with them, or if they're a parent, or if they are a child or a friend, I think that they defer sort of the chores, the daily routines, the unless they're older, wiser, more mature, more healthy. But just think of yourself, if you are an Aquarian, as a young kid or a young person. I mean, did you really volunteer to do the chores? Unless you have Cancer, Virgo, Taurus in your chart, that can really help. Otherwise, it's not that they really want you to be their maid or their chef or their cleaner or you do the shopping, or you weed the garden, or you mow the lawn, or you purge the garage, or clean the upholstery, or you deep clean the car. It's not that. I think that there is like not even an awareness, there's not even a desire to spend their precious time on all that jazz. You know, they feel like life should be fascinating. And vacuuming is not fascinating. Now, of course, I think they're helpful. And if you need their help, of course, ask them and they'll probably do it. They are not waking up going, wow, what traditional chore can I mop the floor today? Right. So I want to know, if you're an Aquarius, what's your relationship to chores and to doing all the drudgery in life? Like, I don't know, your hose is broken. Are you really noticing? Are you noticing that you can't use your garden hose? Are you noticing that that I don't know, the plumbing doesn't work, or the shower drain is not working? I don't even know if you're noticing. So can you tell us, Aquarians, are you like Sagittarius is, are you allergic to chores? Are you allergic to doing the shopping? Are you allergic? Now, I happen to have a fabulous Aquarius husband that does take out my trash. Thank you, God. And he is pretty good at chores, and he washes the dishes. And I love it, as you guys know, because you can hear it in many of my videos. But I never asked him if like, did you grow up doing the dishes? I've never asked him. So now I'm going to have to go ask him. So, and also I want to tell you that my stepfather is a neat freak. And it was so funny. Like he was always the vacuumer and he was always doing the dishes and he still does do the dishes. And he always did his own laundry and my husband does his own laundry. So there is kind of an independence around it, but it's not in a routine. It's not like Sunday's laundry day. No, it's whenever the laundry basket is unbearably full. But I think there's an allergic to like routine chores. And I will say for like my Aquarius husband, he prefers to go grocery shopping kind of like the European way. Like we go to the market or we go get the food that we're going to eat today. We don't like go grocery shopping for the whole week. Like that's way too overwhelming. That's way too overwhelming. He likes to go get, the baguette and the brie cheese and the bottle of wine, at 4 o'clock, 4 or 5 o'clock happy hour. Yeah. So what I want to know from you Aquarians, if you have Aquarius moon, sun rising, how do you feel about chores? I'll also tell you, my girlfriend who I was roommates with in New York, Kate, she also is a neat freak, but she has a ton of Virgo in her chart. So just Aquarian energy is just kind of allergic to doing those routine chores. Okay, number 8. Another challenging thing about Aquarius. Do you guys hate me yet? Do you hate me? Have you listened to this whole series? We're having fun. And I think understanding the shadow side builds compassion. I really do. And so that's why we're talking about it. I also want to tell you guys that my videos, they're just getting a little bit suppressed on YouTube. I don't know why. It's really bad. It's just completely different. So if you could like this and share this video even with yourself, share it from your computer to your phone. That would be awesome. I would really appreciate it. I also would like to ask you to please become a member. Oh my gosh. I am changing up the perks and we are going to be giving discounts on our readings. So I will talk about it in my next video, but it's going to be absolutely fantastic. So we're going to start giving out new perks. And also, I'm having a members only party. And hopefully, you will get to come to my members only party where I read members' charts and go check out the join button. It only puts 10 cents a day into my pocket. It's like $2.99 at the lowest level. Come and join the membership. It is just so wonderful. You get behind the scenes videos and there's all different perks. Just go read all about them. So, number 8, they're big brains. Aquariuses can be know-it-alls. They really can. And they groove into their own opinions. They really crystallize. And I will tell you though, unlike some other signs, you can teach Aquariuses new things. It's just all in the disarmament of the teaching. You have to disarm them. And so again, they don't want to give you all that power and then they're trapped inside your knowledge. No, 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 no. No. I told my husband one time, I was like, oh my God, you're not going to believe what happened today. I read the news and he was like, Mare, I want you to know you are not my news channel. I'm not. Oh, I thought I was reporting the news to you. I didn't know you were reading the news. Okay. He goes, no, no, you're not my news channel. I do get the news. And I was like, okay, okay. I love him. Yeah, we have a really great relationship, but we are each other's second marriage. And so I think we learned a lot about life before the two of us came together. And we just get each other, there's just so few offenses taken inside my marriage with my Aquarius. And I love it. There's a lot of freedom inside of it. And I appreciate that. But I could imagine maybe if I was a 20-year-old, I might have my feelings hurt, right? Because it takes time to self-develop. And I definitely was not self-developed at 20. I was on my way, but I had a long way to go. So, anyways, disarming your Aquarius when you've got some knowledge. And they love those mind expanding conversations and they are curious kittens. Oh my God, these people are the curious cats of the zodiac, but they can be very quick to fact check you. They can be very quick at devil's advocate. They can be very quick at showing you where your reasoning doesn't work. They can be very quick at showing you how your addition does not math. Yeah. Yeah. You just said 3, Meredith, but then you told me it was 1 + 1, and that's not 3. Oh, I did? I thought I said 2. No, you said 3, like that. So they can also be impatient because they're already wanting you to get to the point of your conversation. So they'll just finish your stories for you. They'll interrupt you, they'll overtalk you, they'll finish your stories, they're in a hurry, they're in a rush, they've got things to do, they have freedom to explore. Let freedom ring, because they're already predicting and calculating through critical thinking, because that's how their brains work, the ending of your story. So don't tell them how to drive, what to read, what to believe. Yeah, they don't want you to tell them what they need to do with their day, or who to vote for, or how to dress, or how to do their hair. Nope, 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 nope. They love to talk. They love to understand others. They love friendships. They have a gift for gab. They make friends everywhere they go. That's so annoying. I mean, honestly, they will be out there talking to the next door neighbor for a half an hour when they didn't even have time to give you 5 minutes. They're fascinated with other people. And so don't be boring. You have to stay interesting for your Aquarius. And they make friends everywhere they go. And so they can feel like they're fascinated. It's their minds. They're fascinated with everybody else but you. And with you, you're just like, okay, what about me? I'm really interesting. I'm super fascinating. I wanted to tell them about the news today. This I'm just making up, but it is kind of true. I know a lot of Aquarian energy, and it's very tiring for the other person who's not making friends with everyone, who's not doing chit chat with the entire neighborhood. Who's a little bit more demure or genteel, and so they end up feeling invisible. While the Aquarian makes fascinating friendships with everyone, a gift for gab, talking to the milkman and the mailman, right? And oh, where'd you get that t-shirt? Oh, you went to the Earth, Wind and Fire concert? Oh my gosh, I went there 2 years ago and it was so awesome. And you know what I really like? And you're just like, okay, why are we talking about this? Right. And so it works best if you also are social like that. And if this is your child, I would say do not clip their wings. Let them go and have their, friendships and their fascinations, and um let them have their big brains at work. I mean, maybe they need to learn, if you're the parent, how to have manners inside a conversation. Like, don't cut people off, don't finish their story for them, don't tell the jokes punchline, right? Like, I was going to tell that punchline. Oh, you just told the punchline, right? So let's talk about number 9. um they can be embarrassing. The shadow side of Aquarius can kind of embarrass other people. Their nonconformist ways can be embarrassing at times. Like I told you about my friend, she didn't know everybody at my birthday party, and I was just like, oh gosh, mm, ah, right? So you just don't know what quirky, zany, weird thing is going to pop out of their mouth or their behavior or their body. And if you don't mind eccentricity, this is the perfect sign for you, right? But if you care about protocol and what the dress code is, and what you look like as a couple, or how your child shows up, or you might struggle. If you have a high Venus, you might struggle with the Aquarian's desire to sort of break all the conformity and live inside the eccentricity, to live off the grid, right? And so Aquarius is really here trying to impress no one. And if you are bringing your Aquarius over to meet your parents or meet your children or meet your BFF, then and they're arriving in a crumpled t-shirt, with no squirrels to give, like I have just no to give, then you might find, if you like that, you might find this appealing and freeing. And then again, you might not, right? So this is the part of them that pretends to unknowingly not have a clue about what they're doing in their eccentricity. Oh, was I being eccentric? But trust me, they do know. They do know, but they don't really know how it affects other people. They don't. That's where they're really clueless. And so they do like to push buttons. They like to test you by showing up or talking about things that are a bit out of bounds, that are a bit, you know, mm, inappropriate, maybe even, or just pushing those buttons, just getting those zingers, just to get a rise out of you, just to zing you, right? And like, I have this friend who is an Aquarius, and they are so broke. They don't watch this, by the way. They don't watch these videos. So I'm safe telling this story. They are just without money. They are literally without money. And I'm so worried about them. But they say, oh gosh, don't you worry. I've got furniture I can sell if I need to. And I can just walk a dog. I can just walk a dog. And I'm thinking, what? Oh my God. I am so worried. So if you need a lot of predictable protocol and predictable security and not living eccentrically off the grid, right? That this will work for you. But if not, this could give you an ulcer. And if this is your parent, imagine, and let's say you're a Capricorn, imagine how you're going to feel like, what, my mom or my dad is just going to go walk a dog so they can buy a croissant. I mean, what? It'll come. It'll come. I'm not worried. No, I'm worried. Can you go get a job so I don't worry about you? No, that would be too controlling. Too controlling. So, if you're going to be involved with an Aquarius, healthy or unhealthy, you're going to be working with the themes of somebody who has an innovative mind, right? Who has independence galore and needs intellectual stimulation. And their heart is secondary to all of that. So, it can be a challenge, even to the most patient and most adaptable companions. This can be a challenge. And if this is your kid, I really recommend that you get my child's report, because you are going to need to know how to raise a free spirit and how to get your free spirit to conform just enough that they can fit into societal norms to just be able to function, right? And so Aquarius can be very compelling because there's something sexy about not caring what everybody thinks. There's something beautiful about that. But Aquariuses are living within paradoxes all the time. And there can be this like profound appreciation for how an Aquarius lives with infinite possibilities. They're not held back. But if you require emotional closeness or predictable patterns or, ooey gooey affection, you're probably going to have to teach your Aquarius how to meet your needs, how to do that with you and for you, right? And you might have to show them the way. Anyways, I hope you guys are liking this series. And I just want to tell you, wherever you are in the world, I absolutely love teaching real astrology with you. I hope that you are thinking about coming to my 2026 Seattle workshop. It's going to be May 14, 15, 16, 17. It's going to be for 4 days, really 3 days and a happy hour. But come learn with me. You can go check out everything, all my workshops, all my classes, my in-person teachings, my reports, my charts, all of it at shopsoulnavigation.com. But for now, I hope you are wonderful, and I wish you just the very, very best. Take good care.